Welcome to What Would Aaron Do? And today we're going to make some smoked mac and cheese. This one will not fit into your diet, but it's very good. Here we go. Alright, the first step in making the smoked mac and cheese is going to make the crust that's going to go on the top. It's very simple. It's panko crispy breadcrumbs, and it's some bacon that I've already cooked up. I like to cook up a very thin bacon because you can get it a little bit more crispy. We have some friends who will be eating this who aren't fans of meat or bacon, so what I plan to do is I'm going to have probably about 2/3 of the mac and cheese have bacon on top, and then a third that doesn't, so that everybody can get a chance to try some. So, first things first. Let's get the recipe calls for, what is it? Recipe calls for a half a cup of panko. I'm going to do about a third a cup that I'm going to mix up with the bacon. And then we'll do another third a cup to go without the bacon. I know it's a little bit, it's not a half a cup anymore at this time, but I don't know. No one's going to complain. I hope not. Someone probably will. It doesn't matter. There we go. Panko goes in. Now, let's cut up the bacon. I pre-cooked the bacon. Nobody needs to figure out how I cook bacon here. But I like to cut it real small. And the crispiness of the bacon and the panko give a really nice texture change when you're eating. I've actually seen some people who make a recipe very similar to this one. They actually use a blender for this part, but how much fun is that? Don't you want to cut something with a knife? I like to cut things with knives. Alright, I'll bring you right back when this is all done. So, as you can see, I've got my bacon all chopped up. All fine. Now I'm going to mix that up with the panko that I've added to the pan. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this aside because we got some more work to do. We've got to our next step is we gotta boil some noodles. Actually, before we boil, what do we say? We gotta boil noodles, and we also have to make the sauce that goes with it. Now, this sauce is not gonna be, like I mentioned earlier, you will not keep your diet. It is not for the health conscious. This mix will serve a bunch of people. While it's not healthy for you, you probably shouldn't eat the pan all in one going because it probably will kill you. So I'm going to get this cleaned up. We're going to start off with, we're going to get the pasta on, and we're going to make the roux. All right. The sauce. We need a roux for the sauce. So in this pan, we're going to start making the roux. So as you see, the butter is already melting. So we got 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of flour. We're going to need a saucepan, and it looks like it's a little bit big, but we're going to be putting like 1.5 pounds of cheese in this. So we need to make sure we have all the roux we can get our hands on here right now. But we don't need that. There we go. That would have been disappointing. Sorry, a little piece of the wrapper that goes on there. I thought I got it all off. As the pan's heating up, we're going to melt this butter. Probably should have the pan a little bit hotter here. And at the same time, I've got another pan going to get the noodles going. We're going to want those noodles al dente because we're going to actually cook them twice. Once out here and then once again in the smoker. So once this gets going, we're going to add some, we're going to get the heavy whipping cream mixed in. It's about 2 cups total, but we're going to do a little bit at a time just to get it all to blend in together. But once you get this thing going better than I've got it going, you're gonna want it to you're gonna know when it's ready, when it starts to smell a little nutty. Sorry about the shaking camera. I've got the camera holder I keep bumping it with my head. I don't want to get this up too hot because we're gonna have milk in here. We're gonna have cheese. We're gonna have butter. All right, I think this is working out really good right now. So now we're gonna add the cream in a little bit at a time. We're gonna let it thicken up, add some more, let it thicken up and add some more. Excuse me. And it's gonna be a total of 2 cups of cream. So you can easily get one of these little 16-ounce containers full of cream. Makes it super easy. This is heavy whipping cream. Like I said, this is not for the this will not help with the diet. But if you do it once in a while, it can't kill you. Too bad. There we go. You see how it's thickening up? So this will add another half a cup. Put the rest of that in there now. Now, something that might bore you, I don't know, I enjoy some of this stuff when I'm cooking, but is using a wooden spoon. Like this is, I think this is a bamboo spoon. Well, it's made of bamboo anyways. Using a wooden spoon to cook with, especially once you start getting into, once I start turning over that cheese when we start to add it, it's going to make it makes a huge difference to me. It doesn't stick, it's easy to work with, and it's strong, so you don't get like a plastic spoon flexing or a metal spoon bending. That just seems to hold it together better. So let me go grab the cheese once this is filled up and heating a little bit thicker. So where did I put the cheese? Here's the cheese. So we've got 3 types of cheese today that's going in this recipe. You can use whatever you want. Oh, this is not what I ordered. Anyways, we're gonna go with it. So we've got, this was supposed to be Monterey Jack, but we got a Colby Jack, shredded Colby. This is probably something that they I saw. Anyways, I pre-ordered this at Walmart. Sometimes they will swap items out for you. They doesn't seem like they had their Monterey Jack cheese, but what they gave me was a better brand than theirs. But this is Colby and Monterey Jack cheese. Here's just an extra sharp cheddar, and then I wanted a little bit of spice on this one, so I put a pepper jack in there. This recipe also can call for some hot sauce in there, but I think the pepper jack will be good for people for the most part, until we'll have hot sauces at the where we're going to be eating this, so that people can add in whatever they want into here. So as this is warming up, we are going to continue to rock this thing. Stirring it, stirring it, stirring it. Let's get the cheese in here. We're not going to dump all the cheese in there at once. I think that'd be a bad idea. It's all clump up. So we're going to start off with your extra sharp cheddar here. And once this starts to melt up, then we'll add the other cheese in as well. This is softening up pretty good. So let's get the other cheeses on here. We'll start making the whole thing here. Get the Colby Jack in here. I should probably be more patient and wait for it to melt, but add a little bit at a time. That's not what we're doing tonight. Oh, there we go. Now you can see how it's starting to fold over and really starting to loosen up. All right, those cheeses are starting to blend up real nice, and we're gonna get that pepper jack in there on top. But you can use whatever cheese you want. You want to do all extra sharp cheddar. The recipe originally calls for, 1/2 Monterey Jack and 1 pound of extra sharp cheddar, but I mixed it up a little bit. Sometimes the extra sharp cheddar is a little bit too extra sharp, and it's and people don't like it. So you can go more Monterey Jack. That's usually not too bad. Heck, I bet you could, if you wanted like a provolone, whatever's shredded, right? If you wanted a provolone, if you wanted to put some parm in here, if you feel like you get some Parmesan cheese flavor in this, I think that would work out really well. But pepper jack, besides its spice, it's a very mild flavored cheese, so you're not going to get overly, you're not going to get that sharp cheddar flavor that you got. There we go, stirring that up. Pretty exciting, right? It was like talking. That's one would say that story's a little cheesy, but I wouldn't dare. That's a horrible joke. So what we'll do is we'll take a little break. We'll let this cook up some more, because I don't have any other cheese or fromage jokes, and we'll put it together when we get the whole thing all mixed up. Remember, when we do our pasta, we want a little bit al dente, because you're going to be cooking it once, maybe twice, and maybe even a third time when you reheat it for lunch, or if you're gonna make it and bring it somewhere. Just keep that in mind when you're cooking those elbow noodles. And another thing to keep in mind, the recipe calls for 12 ounces of elbow noodles. So, which is all nice and good, but not everywhere has 12 ounce boxes of elbow noodles. You'd be surprised. So one thing that I came up with is I was looking at using the serving sizes on these noodles, and I came up with 2 ounces of noodles equals half a cup dry. So 12 ounces of noodles equals 3 cups of dry. So that way, if you're making this up and someone says, I'll pick up the noodles, and they get a 16 ounce box, you know that if you put in 3 cups, you'll get your 12 ounces and you won't have to weigh it. That being said, we'll bring you back once the pasta is ready, and we'll get the rest of it all stirred up. So now the noodles are all cooked up. Let's dump those right into the bowl. Noodles are all cooked up. Let's get these dumped into the bowl. And you can tell, I don't know if you'll pick up on camera, but you can tell by the color they're still, they're chewable, but they're still a little bit on the al dente side, and that's exactly what we needed. We talked about that before. All right, let me get this out of here. I'll go get the cheese sauce. Now let's go get the cheese sauce. We'll stir that right in before it sets up. I turn the heat down, and she's thickening up a little bit here. I had to keep the heat on it for a while, because if I didn't, she'd be one giant clump, and I would never get that to stir in. We'll start stirring all this up together here. Now, once we get this all stirred up, now we need to add a cup of mayo and a cup of sour cream. So in goes the mayo. This will help to thin this out a little bit too, make it easier to work with. All right. All right, and now we're going to add the sour cream in here to sit now. Get this in my rubber scraper here. Turn that. Or a spatula, depending on how you feel about things. Now, there we go. A little bit of campfire mix. This is the original recipe calls for what's called an all-purpose seasoning, which is salt, pepper, garlic, maybe even a little bit of paprika if you want to get some color into it. This stuff is pretty straightforward. It's garlic, onion, black pepper, salt, garlic salt, and white pepper. So just put a couple of teaspoons in there. All right, that's thoroughly mixed up. Now let's go get the pan. We'll put it all in the pan. Alright, there's the pan. Now let's get this all out of this pan and into that one. Oh, we want to spread that out because when we cook this in the smoker, we want it to cook evenly. So we want equal thickness all the way around. Because if we don't, some parts will burn and some parts won't get all that great smoky flavored. Now is the final step in the preparation. We're going to get the breadcrumbs on there. So we have storing in the fridge. It's a little bit easier to work with once it's cold. So we'll probably do about 2/3 with the bacon, and then we'll leave some smoker fired up and get this cooking. Well, we are out at the grill. In the last video, or the next video, I don't know the order I'm putting them in yet, but we started the charcoal using a chimney. This time, we're going to use the propane torch in that basket that I showed you before. I kind of loaded the charcoals up before. Our pan's going to sit right in here. So we're going to have to rotate it as we're cooking to make sure that we get even coverage all around. So let me get this. I'm going to let this get started up. Once we get a good smoke going, coming out of here, then we know it's started. And we're going to let it heat the grill up. It's a little hard to see here, but we got the mac and cheese on the grill. We got our apple wood. I'm going to close that to keep the wood, the heat, and the smoke inside. And while that's going, we're just going to keep picking up, and we'll keep checking on it in a little bit. This is going to take a little while. Generally, I like to see like it bubbling on the outer edges and the top be nice and crispy brown to know when it's done. All right, I'll bring you back when we're a little bit further along when we check it. I just came out to check on it, and it looks like it's pretty good. I can hear it start to sizzle, but we don't really have the bubbling around the edge. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't, but I'm going to make sure I cook it all the way through. Maybe get some, I got some more charcoal going. I want it to cook it a little bit longer than it is right now and make sure it's set up pretty good. I am going to probably put some more smoke on there, get a good smoke ring in there. Well, it's not really a smoke ring. Anyways, so we're still cooking. I'll be back later. This mac and cheese is just about done. I'm going to flip it. You can see how it's sizzling there on the top edge. It's dark out, so you got the sizzling of the right on the edge of the cast iron. We don't have any on this side. I'm going to turn it around until I get that sizzle. That will give us a nice crust on the other side, and they'll be able to get it cooled off and ready to reheat tomorrow. I just pulled the mac and cheese off the smoker. I'm sorry I didn't get a video of it, but it's hard to do it while you're carrying it. And it looks really good. We have our section for our vegetarians and people who don't like bacon, and then we have the rest for most everybody else. Should be good. Now I got it. Now I just have to let it cool enough so I can put it into the fridge for tonight. Alright, well that's it for tonight. Thanks for joining me, and keep an eye out for my next video. Bye.